And look, I was 27, 8-ish, maybe even 25 coming into the industry, and I was automatically put in adult contemporary. Now I know I got a grown up voice, but dude, really? I mean, at the time I was doing hip hop.
We sound crazy.
Baby, come to me. Gotta have you.
Welcome to another week of We Sound Crazy, your official backstage pass to all things music and culture. It's your boy Thillionaire in the building. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe below.
Absolutely. Claude Kelly is certainly in the building.
Hey, it's Chuck Harmony. I'm in the building.
Begging for making this here, but I'm trying to contain it.
Contain it, Bacon. Contain it.
Contain it, Bacon.
Sweating.
I know who's sweating already.
Who's sweating?
Chuck Harmony.
Who's sweating?
Chuck Harmony got checked already.
I got checked already. I don't know what it is about me, but the people that can really sing, they like to beat me up. And they like to.
No, let's just
like to make me sweat.
statement. Come on now.
We're sitting with an Academy Award winner, a multiple Grammy winner.
Oh, yeah.
Singer, songwriter, producer, actress.
Yes.
We're talking about the one, the only, the incomparable,
Yes.
Miss Regina Belle.
Yay! First, let me just say this. The way Miss Belle just sauntered in here, floated in here, is how you know you're amongst royalty.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We always ask the audience, the people at home, who they want to be on the show. Mm-hmm. And your name is like, it's like, Regina Belle. They've been yelling at us.
Oh, wow.
So this is like a dream realized. So thank you.
Well, thank you. No, I watched the show. So I saw Nivea in the shout out.
Yes.
I loved it. Mickey Howard.
Yes.
And so, I did watch part of Jagged Edge. So, yes, I watch. And let me just say to you all how very proud I am of you four. Because, and everybody, the whole staff, everybody that supports what it is you do, because when you see young brothers doing what you're doing, I feel like I got 4 sons in the room that are just blessing us and blessing our community and keeping us up musically, because y'all do your homework. So that's important. When you come to a show like this, you're hoping that the people that are interviewing you are going to have done their homework and not ask the ABC questions, but dig in and ask the right things. And I'm just really proud of you all. So
Thank you so
That
much.
means so much.
That means a lot.
It means the most to me.
I'm proud of you too, my baby. Even though you didn't vote for a sister, I'm proud of you.
I will say, when you say do your homework, I've been doing the homework of Regina Belle since I was probably in diapers.
Oh my God.
Like, Regina Belle is just I know for me and my folks, shout out to all my family.
Shout them out.
They gonna get this when I say this right now. We play every album.
Wow.
Anytime Regina Belle came out with Regina Belle got something new coming out. I mean, it's just somebody that we have to play at the family function.
Well, thank you.
Like, you are a mainstay.
Absolutely.
Not just my family, but in so many families.
But shout out to your family,
Yeah,
because they
yeah.
help us to pay a light bill.
Yeah,
So,
we glad to do
Bills
it.
got to get paid. We started with a banger, a hit, a
Quiet
smash,
Storm,
a classic.
Classic.
And I mean, if you don't know that song, you've been living under a rock. But the first thing that comes to mind is just, there are singers and then there are songstresses, vocalists. And the way, you're not just singing that song, you are painting a picture with your voice.
Yes.
And the first thing I thought, I was like, well, who were your influences? Because I can hear that you ain't new to it.
No.
You were never new to it. Like, you did your homework as a singer, and that's a part of it. So who were your influences?
Well, there are many. My father loved the blues, so he listened to Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, Blind Lemon Jefferson. Probably nobody knows who that is. B.B. King, where my mother listened to a lot of gospel, and she loved Sam Cooke. So that was kind of like my foundation. And then as I started developing, and because my mom said I was singing before I was actually speaking. So that's interesting to me. As I developed the love for music, I started listening to Natalie Cole and Shaka Khan, and Donny Hathaway was my one. Which you'll probably hear most singers talk about Donny Hathaway, because his voice to me is just, he's like, wow, just give me a piece of that, Natalie Cole, and I gravitated more towards people who, when they sang, they put something in you, they transferred something into you, and so that was important to me. So tone, quality of music, lyrics, all of those things made a difference for me. And I grew up in an era where lyrics really said something. I mean, 60s, 70s, we had great music. And then as I kind of got maybe halfway out of high school, Billie Holiday and Nancy Wilson began to be my, like, oh my gosh.
Nancy Wilson.
Nancy Wilson. Yeah. So, and she actually later on in life becomes my mentor. So I'm literally sitting at the feet of Nancy Wilson and Freda Payne.
Wow.
Gleaning knowledge. Yeah.
Because I was going to say, the jazz, I can hear the jazz in it as well.
Yeah.
How much did studying opera at Rutgers, how much did that influence your music?
Wow, I actually studied classical music, European classical music, in Manhattan School of Music for Preparatory College. I actually did that while I was in high school. Wow. So it made a huge difference because it changed my breathing. So whereas I would maybe use all throat, now I learned how to use my diaphragm to support. I learned how to change spaces of where the voice is. So head voice to total chest to, going in between head and I hope I'm making sense.
Yeah. We know exactly.
We're singers. Yeah.
So I learned how to do that. Studying classical music. When I got to the jazz, it really opened my eyes to a whole nother school of music. So going from, I'm really rusty, so. Se ben crudele mi fai languir, siempre fedele, ti voglio amar. So from going there into so going from that to that, and then into when did you leave a heaven? How could they let you go? So being able to utilize all those what I call books in the library, to create a language of your own, that began to be the most important part of doing what it is that I do. Learning how to tell my story from Regina's perspective. And so that was, I think all of my training helps me to paint the best possible picture that I could possibly paint being Regina.
Yeah.
So I could feel comfortable being me, because even on my worst day, right, I'm still number one if I'm being me.
Yeah.
But to be yourself, you also have to be able to know, like you said, how to use all those tools in the toolbox.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And that's clearly what you did.
I have a two-pronged question, because of course I know you worked with the Manhattans before, Show Me the Way and all this stuff, right?
Whole nother school.
Yeah. Like, and speaking of that being a school, like, of course, you don't get to sing with somebody like the Manhattans and you don't have the training. But
correct.
What did you learn show business wise?
Oh my gosh.
Working with them that you were able to apply to solo Regina Belle career?
I actually apply lessons this day that I learned from Blue Lovett, who I called my father in the industry, God rest his soul, and Nancy Wilson as well.
Yeah.
Nancy taught me, she said, baby, she said, I'm passing the baton to you. And a lot of folks gonna want to take their clothes off. I'm gonna need you not to be that one. She said, I'm gonna need you to go out there and just sing. And I was like, well, maybe I want some pyrotechnics. She was like, you don't need all that. You need to go out there, look good. She said, always look good now. She said, because Nancy looks good. She said, but when you go out there, she said, I know how to be sexy by putting my hand on my knee. The songs that I sing, the things that I talk about, I evoke sexiness. And I was like, whoa, okay. And then Blue taught me, from the Manhattans, he taught me, make sure that every time you go to the stage that you make the audience feel like they're in your living room. He said, if you can achieve that, then you'll have fans when you have a number one hit or no hits at all.
Wow. That's a life lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I take those lessons and a plethora of others that really sustain me throughout almost 40 years in the industry.
Yeah. She said, I'm gonna need you not to be the person that takes your clothes. But
I'm like, what? I'm not cute. I'm not cute.
Nancy
right?
Wilson was sexy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't sleep.
Yes, and she would wear her thing was the Bob Mackie gown, and she always looked amazing. I mean, I'm so blessed that I was able to honor her. I forget what year it was, but in the Essence Awards, I honored her. And in honoring her, I wore a Bob Mackie gown. And so, I totally get it. She comes from another era, but I just don't believe that everything that is seasoned or before you needs to be thrown away.
Oh, agreed.
If it works, why try to fix it? So that was my thing. When she said that, I was like, okay, well, maybe a little bit of sexiness, just a little bit, right? I'm not gonna be, I ain't gonna be having nothing. I ain't gonna have the girls out or nothing.
I do want to ask you how Nancy Wilson poured into you. Have you been able to pour into other artists and other peers, even over the years?
Absolutely. It was so funny. I did a gig maybe a few weeks back with Barry Eastman. Who did quite a few of my songs.
Yes.
This Is Love.
Yeah.
And he's worked with everybody from Jonathan Butler to everybody. And my first drummer was on the gig, and his name is Abe Fogel. And Abe went on to play with a number of people. Chris Walker was in my first band.
Yeah.
He goes on to do a number of things. And lastly and certainly not least of them, my brother. Bernard Bell.
Yeah.
And I poured into all of them, but if my brother were here today, if he were alive, he would tell you about the fact that I fired all three of them. Wait. So I fired them because my premise was, and Abe was first. I fired him. I said, you too big for this gig. I'm gonna need you to spread your wings. Abe and I both came out of Rutgers together. And I was like, you really need to spread your wings and do some other things. And he was like upset.
That's very selfless to do, though.
Absolutely.
Well, I now I think about it, like, I messed my band up. But anyway, my brother was next. And, I told him, I said, you're writing, and my brother at that time, he played all the rhythm instruments. So, and he sang background. That's what a lot of people don't know about my brother. So aside from doing Michael Jackson, Remember the Time, and Boy George and Case and High Five and Bobby and Whitney and Guy and Blackstreet and all, I could list it all day long. My brother was a singer.
Yeah.
And so all the backgrounds you hear on Let's Chill, that's my brother singing.
Wow.
Right.
I was today years old.
Right.
I did not know that.
And so, it was like, hey, you got to go. And he was like, basically, I'm telling mommy on you. Because he was done. And so Chris Walker was the last one. I was like, sorry, dude, but you got to go. And because I saw the gifts, the extraordinary gifts that these individuals had. And I was like, it's selfish of me to hold on to them and let them be in my shadow and not allow them to really exercise what it is that they can do. And they were scared, but I was scared when I first got in, when I first started doing what I was doing. And so it was important to me to be able to, pay it forward because somebody gave me that huge opportunity to come in. And they didn't just allow me, when I came on, I was singing background, but the Manhattans realized that I had a gift and they had me opening.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so that's how I got discovered at Carnegie Hall.
Wow.
Opening up for them, singing "You Bring Me Joy."
Really?
Yeah, insane. And Joe McEwen, who was the A&R person at Columbia, saw me and said, "Hey, you want a record deal?" I was like, yeah. And I didn't have a demo tape. I didn't have a 8x10 glossy. I didn't have anything. Of course, I paid dues once I got in, but I really didn't have to knock down a lot of doors. It was just having that opportunity to be in the background of the Manhattans, coming forward and somebody seeing me.
Wow.
What was your thought process going into the first album? Was it like, this is going to make me a star, or I'm doing this and I hope people like
Fear.
it? Fear.
Oh my gosh, I was so afraid. I had done backgrounds. I was working with a Grammy Award-winning, not just nominated, but winning group who had toured the world, who I grew up listening to.
Right.
I was cool being in the background.
This is good.
I didn't have to make no decisions.
Right. It's with the gig.
I'm with the gig.
Right.
But now I'm the gig.
You're the gig. And you're the leader of the whole empire.
My name is on the...
Right.
So I'm like... Okay. And so I go forward, and I'm actually still on the road with them while I'm recording. That's how much I'm like...
just in case it don't work out.
Well, it wasn't that, but it was afraid to even step out and just say, you know what, I need to go because I need to focus in on my stuff. I was afraid. I'm just gonna be real with you. Now I ain't no punk. So I'm gonna face what I gotta face. But if I were to be honest, I was scared. I was scared to pieces.
So I was gonna say, so Show Me the Way comes out, right?
Yeah.
Is this, and you talk about how you were scared coming from working with the Manhattans. Do you just kind of snap into mode of, okay, this is my career and I have to do what I need to do? Or is there a learning curve? Is there time that you have to take to like kind of work some of the kinks out?
No, by the time the record was done, I don't know how they do it now, but basically you had to do promotional work.
Yeah.
So
you still gotta promote.
Right.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Promote mean you don't get paid. That's what but anyway, there was promotional work to be done, so I couldn't stay on with the Manhattans.
Yeah.
So I had to jump right into it, It was a different. That's why the first name, the name of the first record is called All by Myself, because I was all by myself.
Literally.
I literally felt that way, and I was reaching, to find my space, to find my place.
Yeah.
And
What year is this?
1987.
So you're talking about a year. Music is always competitive, but the 80s had a lot of, I would say, and then looking back now, fantastic vocalists, fantastic songs. The machine was working in terms of how you want to be presenting great. So there's also that factor of like, you want to.
Yeah.
Compete. You want to compete?
You know what though? I didn't see it that way.
Okay.
I think I've been really blessed. No, I know that I'm really blessed because I've always been comfortable in my skin. So I never really tried. I was watching your show with BB Winans, and one of the things he was saying is that his dad wanted to make sure that they knew who they were before they left to go into the world, because they didn't want the world to define them.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to fall victim to somebody else's definition.
Yeah.
So I kind of I did the homework. I studied the jazz. I studied classical. I studied jazz. I studied R&B, reggae. I studied and I studied it not just from the musical aspect, but I actually was a musician too. So, and then I did the literal work, to find out, like knowing the difference that classical music, or what is termed classical music, is European classical music, and jazz music is American classical music.
Yes.
So, kind of knowing those things so that when I walk on stage, I'm more than just a face. I'm more than just a voice.
Yeah.
But I want to be the whole package.
Yeah.
So, no, I knew who I was.
Yeah.
I was clear on that. Well, see, that's the school of the Manhattans.
Oh, okay.
So now seeing Gerald sometime not having it all and going out there and still killing the game, watching Blue be the character of the group, because he did all the talking. He was smooth. He, by the time Gerald got up, it was just like having a great choir, and the preacher really can just glide now.
Yeah.
Because the singing made preaching easy.
Yeah.
And that's that connection, or that relationship. That's what he and Gerald, to me, totally elucidated when they were on stage.
Yeah.
And so I pull from that. So, the things that I say, I try to make sure that I'm current. I don't want to talk to you like I'm talking to you back in the day, but I want to talk to you about what's going on right now.
Yeah.
You come into my show, I don't know, you may have not paid a light bill. You might have, skipped the car note to come see me. And I don't take that for granted.
Yeah.
And so it's important that you do some work when you coming in the room, that folk don't, like I said, just see a face and hear a voice. But, what do you have to say that might encourage us when we leave from this place, that we still feel the presence of something good?
Yeah.
Something better than what before I went in. I want to come out better than the way I went in.
That's good.
And that's always my thing. God bless me with a spirit that touches people in a way that they feel, energized to go into whatever it is they got to go into, because you don't know what people are facing.
Yeah.
Right?
That's. I hope artists are listening. This is a whole master class.
And I love that you brought up Gerald Alston, because that man,
Everything.
y'all, if you don't know who that is, look up the Manhattan, look up Gerald. Like, the man's voice was nuts.
Use your Googles.
Yeah.
Right. No, look, my daughters, my youngest daughters, 28 and 30 years old. And so, and they sing. And I brought them on the road with me, and they were singing background. And I had an opportunity to do Westbury with the Manhattans. And Gerald was singing. And my daughters, I was looking for them, and they were out in the audience. And when I tell you they was straight fanning out, oh my gosh. Like, I didn't have a clue. And my daughter Sydney comes back and says, "Oh my God, Ma, I'm so in love with him." I was like, okay, first of all, he's older than me. So no. That would be a negative. And my youngest daughter, Nala, says, "Mommy, but I just, he is," she said, "I know this sound old, but he's soul."
Yeah. Yes.
And I listened to that, and I really received that when she said it, because I got it.
Yeah.
And he is soul.
Yeah.
When you hear Gerald, you hear the very soul, the passion, you hear his heart. And you feel like he just got his heart broke when he sings "Kiss and Say Goodbye" every time. How do you do that?
Yeah.
How do you do that? God forbid that we should go through everything that we sing about, but you got to be able to at least be on the same plane to have some sort of understanding of what this song is saying to be able to emote it in the song.
Yeah, it's true.
We sound crazy.
All I want is forever.
Oh man.
Listen.
It just feels good.
It feels so
Yeah.
good.
good.
I
It's
got
like-
it feels so good.
I have to say this, like your, how do I want to say this? Your knack for camaraderie and singing with other people. Like I've always admired your duets.
Oh,
like
thank you.
the solo songs, amazing. The duets are just as amazing. Like, what is your philosophy around singing with other people and like making sure that both of you shine on
You
that-
just said
those
it,
records?
relationship,
Yeah.
and it doesn't mean that I have, this going back relationship, but it means understanding what it is that the person is across from you, what they can do, and allowing that shine to complement your shine and vice versa. And people don't always, they don't take the time to know that. Like I said, I study. So when I listen to other artists, and I've had the opportunity to work with a number of other artists doing duets, it's important to me that we give our best as we complement one another. That's not always easy, because everybody doesn't have that same mentality. Which makes you have to work hard to get in where you fit in. And that's not what music is about. There's a spot for us all, right? So I'm really blessed to have had great relationships and understandings when it comes to duetting, having people who get it and don't make me have to work extra hard, and I try to do the same for them.
Yeah. Outside of your own catalog, is there a favorite duet that
That's
you
what I
have?
was going to ask as well.
Wow. Yes. Billy Preston and Sarita Sweet.
With You, I'm Born Again.
Yes. I would love to redo that. So I got
What we waiting on?
I got singers, I got musicians, I got producers. Yeah. All in this room.
all right
Come
here.
on, come on. Let it be written.
Come on,
So
and
let
that's
it be
real.
said.
Who would be a dream duet partner for that?
Oh my gosh.
The dream collaborator.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh gosh. Wow. Dave Hollister. Because that'd be a surprise, right?
That would be
Because nobody would think that. Everybody would think like Kenny Lattimore.
Yeah,
right.
Dave would bring something
That's
different.
good.
Dave would bring something different.
You heard that, Dave?
Hey,
Okay, so we can't be in this conversation of duets without talking about probably one of your most notable duet partners, Peabo Bryson.
You better know it.
I mean, y'all have done a few duets
Yeah,
together. What is it about that relationship, and why in your opinion, why does it leaps off of the record whenever we hear you two sing together?
One, I think we're both hopeless romantics.
Yeah.
that definitely you can hear in the music.
Yeah.
You can hear that in the music.
Yes,
For sure.
yes, we're hopeless romantics, and so both of us, it's like whenever we sing it, it's like falling in love all over again.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I don't even know how to put it in words. It's something that we both understand. It's something that we both, and I love him. I've always loved Peabo. I loved Peabo back when I was in high school. When I had the opportunity to first meet him, I was actually over the Black Student Union. I was the person that it was called the African Student Congress, the ASC, and for the music for the African American students, I brought the music in. Okay. So I brought in everybody I like. So
My show,
right,
my people.
my show, my people. So I brought in Phyllis Hyman and Peabo Bryson.
Whoa.
Wait, it gets better. Walking in the door with him is Roberta Flack.
Oh, wow.
I'm losing my natural
Hold on.
mind.
As you should.
So you book Phyllis Hyman and Peabo Bryson. And Roberta Flack walks in the door.
She walks in the door with Peabo.
Just casually.
That's what she did to us. I'm telling you,
Just hanging out.
Roberta Flack, she was a sneak attacker. She just come in and just.
Oh my God!
Continue.
It was everything. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
And so that was my first time ever meeting Peabo, and the whole time I'm like, I'm so in love with this man, right? So then, fast forward, I sing background with the Manhattans, and I actually get to see him in concert.
Okay.
Like years later, and I'm like, I'm so in love with this man. And so then Columbia approaches me about doing A Whole New World for Aladdin.
Yes.
And they say, well, who do you want to do this with you? I was like, well, Peabo did Beauty and the Beast, and I feel like if it ain't broke, why should we fix it? And so they were like, well, we were thinking that, but we didn't know if we wanted to duplicate that, you know. I was like, he's perfect. So we go in the studio, literally, I have bronchitis.
What?
Yes. I recorded the song. I'm trying to find places to put notes so that it comes out right.
What?
But I literally, and so you can imagine now, years later, when you're trying to duplicate what you did and you were sick when you did it.
Wow.
Wait, and let me give you one better. So we get into the biggest argument because Peebo's a smoker. Now, why? How?
Yeah.
Like,
With that kind of a crystal clear,
how?
rangeless
How?
voice.
And still.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because how about, okay, A Whole New World's 30 years old?
Yeah.
We still singing in the same key.
Now,
Wow.
Most men do not want to duet that song with me because they're like, can you bring it down? No, baby.
Listen.
Because Peebo's in his 70s and he's still singing this song in the same key. No, I can't bring it down for you.
you
I'm
have to
so
keep
sorry.
up or you can't do it.
Yeah.
Every time that song, like, you still get chills, like that proverbial chill up your spine whenever you hear that.
It also speaks to something that I think is so important about music, which doesn't get a lot of attention, which is casting.
Yeah.
Great song can happen, but it has to be the right parent.
Yes.
That's that lightning in a bottle that people talk about. And it's ironic that, not ironic, it's meant to be that you guys do this song that becomes one of Disney's most synonymous songs, right? Because everything about your music, that song, everything before, everything after, has this kind of magical, you know,
The sheen.
yeah, the sheen we talk about. Music that makes you dream.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's magical. It's hopeful. It's just the perfect thing. But it's also about the casting, your voice on things, the key it's in.
Yes.
Maybe the fact that you've had bronchitis. We know it worked to your favor because it's
Right.
But it's just so inspiring to see that the right choices were made in terms of who should be on the song and the key and why.
Absolutely.
Because it matters.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times, especially now, I think that's handled kind of heavy-handedly. It's just kind of like, we have a song, we put them together, and you fly the vocals in, and you ain't got to be in the same room to even duet.
Right.
Just
Right.
email me your vocals, and I'll put it in. But there's something to being in a room.
Yes.
Well, that speaks to the society in which we live now. It's a microwave society. And a lot of the times we don't make the time to make the magic
Right.
in the way we once did.
Right.
And I think it takes away. I think, you know, when people saw us, we recently went to Japan. And when I tell you how big this song is, I really wish Alan Menken and Tim Rice would have let me put like one line in there so I could be writers. But anyway,
That would have been nice.
anyways, Peabo and I went to Japan, and it was 17,000 people, 3 different shows, sold out each show back in August of last year. We sang one song.
What?
See, you don't hear me. what the preacher say? Y'all don't hear me.
Right. I'm trying to put my jaw off the ground because
What they did was they played Aladdin. They played the movie. They had an 100-piece orchestra. Right? So the orchestra is playing the music. They muted the music throughout the movie, and the orchestra played the entire time.
Yes.
And as the credits are rolling, Peabo and I walk out and sing A Whole New World.
what I say,
The crowd went crazy, right?
They were insane.
Yeah, man.
And when I tell you, when they came backstage afterwards for the meet and greet, you know how at the airport they rope off areas, you got to go around to get to security? That's how it was for the meet and greet.
Crazy.
Just that.
I'm talking about miles of fans.
Yeah.
And they were coming. I mean, they didn't speak our language. And they were in tears. And it was a bittersweet moment because I appreciated the fact that there was so much love and gratitude. And then I thought about home. And I said, wow, you know, to get this kind of love, but you got to go halfway across the globe. I mean, quite frankly, that just sucks.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
You know, I'm grateful to have the opportunity to have done what I did. But it still speaks to a place in my heart that I feel like it's a little bit of a hole.
Yeah.
Because you want, but what does the Bible say? We at home is where we get the least amount of
A
recognition.
king and queen has no honor in their own
Yeah.
castle, right? In my opinion, one of the best and biggest records of all time. It's American Songbook.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Well, yeah, okay.
It's American Songbook. It's a standard.
I didn't know that.
As far as I'm concerned, it's American standard. The beginning. How does this even come about? Who calls? How does this opportunity happen?
For me, it was Tommy Mottola and Don Eisner.
Okay.
Came to me. So I would assume that Disney approached them because of Peabo and Celine both being on Columbia.
Yeah.
So I can't remember. So when I first got to Columbia, it was CBS Records, and then it turned from CBS to Sony Records.
Yeah.
So I don't know which was which at the time, but I would assume that Disney approached them because they had a winning formula with Peabo and Celine Dion.
Right.
So I would think that's how it went, but I'm not really
They made
sure.
the right call. I mean, that's all that matters to me.
The right call.
Yeah.
So, Regina, you were talking about your time in Japan recently with Peabo performing A Whole New World.
Yeah.
I've always wondered, and Timon, we talk about this, why don't we here in the United States appreciate
Right.
our legends, our artists, like while they're here to still smell their flowers, go to the shows? What do you think that is? Because internationally, I mean, they have such an appreciation
God, yeah.
for music.
Well, I think for one that across the globe is not as microwavable, not when it comes to the music. So there's an appreciation for all music. So, I remember back in the day, like in the mid 90s when I was touring in London, and it blew my mind that I was listening to a radio station and I heard James Brown, I heard the Clark Sisters, I heard Shaka Khan.
Wow.
And it was on one station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I told my manager, I got to go to that station. I need to know where that station is because I'm saying it's an appreciation of music. Categorization allows certain people to make money and others not so much. And so that is problematic in this country, but it's where we live.
Yeah.
We happen to have some really fantabulous musicians, but when you categorize, you put some in the position to make this money, to be in front of this audience, to go these places, and you destine them for a different road.
Yeah.
Whereas somebody else in another category, R&B or what is it, adult contemporary. And look, I was 27, 8-ish, maybe even 25 coming into the industry, and I was automatically put in adult contemporary. Now I know I got a grown up voice, but dude, really? I mean, at the time I was doing hip hop because coming out of high school, Sugar Hill Studios was right around the corner from my house. So that was my training ground.
Yeah.
That's where I first met Angie Stone. The original, I call it original Angie B.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
With the sequence. And I went on tour with them my summer graduating from high school. So I
didn't
got
know
it.
that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Things, the 100
100 things you didn't know about Regina
There
Belle
you go.
today.
There you go. And so, I had an appreciation, and I was able to do all types, many genres of music.
Yeah.
But here I was placed in, and nobody asked me, but this is where I was, adult contemporary, coming out the gate. Right? And so, having a whole new world blow up so much, now it opened the door for me in so many areas to now be on the pop charts.
Yeah.
Which now changes my whole trajectory as to where I can go, what I can do, who I am put before,
Yeah.
what places I can sell out.
Yeah.
So, it's sad.
It is. It's frustrating.
And it is very frustrating.
It's frustrating.
Because we put a lot of work and time into what it is that we do. And, I feel like those things are not acknowledged. And that's I think the neatest way I can say that.
Has the conversation about genre, has that ever tripped you up when you were putting together your records?
No. If you listen to A Whole New World, you hear gospel, you hear jazz.
Yeah.
You hear R&B.
Yeah.
I don't know how to separate. So there's gonna be some blues in everything I do, because that's who I am. I think when you become that methodical, you change. You can't really tell the story.
It changes the creative process.
Right.
Yeah.
And if I'm telling the story, right, if the whole story can't be once upon a time. It can't be the end.
Right.
But you got to take somebody on a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Then you got to cruise a little bit, and then you got to dip.
Yeah.
And then take them back up real slow, and then dip them again.
Yeah.
And so in all those, this part of the song may require jazz. This part of the song may require a really long, beautiful note. That's the European classical training. This part might, I really want to make a statement here. I want to put my foot on. I want to put my weight on it. So maybe I got to go to the blues right here. So those areas of telling a story, I don't want nobody to clink me. I need to be able to be free. To say what I need to say.
We sound crazy.
If I could.
Not everyone can sing. That's not a song you do at karaoke.
No.
Right. Look.
Unless you have the skills to do.
I almost didn't do it.
Really?
Yeah. Me and Mickey Howard were in The Village, and Nancy had sang that song.
Okay.
Because she actually recorded it first.
Okay.
And we were sitting there crying like babies. And so when Nick asked me to do it, he said, look, I'm going to bring in strings. It's going to be amazing. And then I walk in the door and I see Greg filling games, and I'm like, and I said, Greg, I'm so sorry you here, baby. I said, but we ain't finna do this. I said, did you hear Nancy's version? Y'all ain't gonna be doing me like y'all did Cyndi Lauper when she did What's Going On. She got what? Beat down. No, I come too far to be like. And so he's like, well, you have a child now. I think you have something to say. I said, Greg, you're gonna get 2 takes out of me. If it don't work,
It don't work.
it don't work. And literally, that's really all it took. And it's not a song.
2 takes?
Yeah. Baby Come to Me too. 2 takes.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
then.
Well then, right.
But it's the type song, you can't sing that song. Well, let me say this. I couldn't sing that song and cut midway and then try to.
Yeah.
It was a song that I had to sing it all the way through. All the way through. So I sang it all the way through, and then I sang it all the way through again, and it was like that was it. It's nothing left after that.
Yeah.
Because I really feel that song. And even now when I do it on stage, it still sometimes brings me to tears. Because I think about my own kids, and then I think about people who maybe have lost children. I mean, anything that is a if I could moment.
Yeah.
You know, so in the studio, obviously it wasn't something that you could sing over and over and over again and still have the same presence.
Yeah.
And so that was important to me to maintain the presence of the song. And so
Did that.
So out of your vast catalog, do you have a favorite song?
Good question.
After it's all tied and worn, when the newness all wears off, we'll still be lovers long after the love, long after the love, long after the love has lost its shine.
That's on the first album.
That's my favorite of all.
Man. My
Priceless.
one of my favorite, it's an album cut. It's on the Passion record. Well, it's two, but I Believe All Over the World in One Love.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That record
That's
right there.
Narda, Michael Walden.
And then Tango in Paris. I still play that to this
Really,
day.
Mohandas Dewey's
Jam.
Cool Mo D.
Jam. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I just did that sitting down with all that breath
That's what I was
Crazy.
thinking the same thing. I'm still there. I'm so stuck.
She didn't ask for a bottle of water. She didn't ask for reverb on the mic.
No, goals are for me to be able to sing like Marvin Gaye sang Laying Down.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That was the greatest. Okay, but we ain't gonna go there. We ain't gonna go there. Undoable.
Is there a Regina Belle album that you're most proud of? Like, I know all of them are your babies, but
Wow.
is there one that you probably still play today and you like, you know what, I did that?
Wow. So I'm probably most proud of my Lazy Afternoon CD.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right?
It's a good one.
Because in working with George Duke which was my, you know, but then I want to say the gospel record, the very first one, because I was dealing with the dichotomy of being an R&B singer and singing gospel, and dealing with probably man-made rules about that. Serving two gods, singing for the world when I thought we were supposed to be trying to get the world. Oh, but you know, we're not gonna go there. Lazy Afternoon probably I'm most proud of, because I got a chance to work with George Duke. And when I came in, I was so intimidated, because here's a cat that has worked with everybody, right? R&B, jazz, gospel, pop. I mean, he worked with Miles Davis. Come on.
Yeah.
So he's like the cat.
Yeah.
And we're doing the song If I Should Lose You. And I'm in the booth, and we recorded everything live. We did 12 songs in 10 days. And George has on a soft cast. And he's getting mad, like, while we're playing, because he can't play like he wants to play. He stops the session and rips it off. And I thought that was for me, that was the most proudest moment in my life, because an icon like George Duke says, I'm going to play in pain for Regina Belle, because I need to have my whole self.
All my faculties, That's powerful.
Yeah, so I'm probably most proud of that project.
Yeah.
I think the most challenging project would have been the gospel project, because literally there were at least 1 or 2 songs where I had to go home because spiritually I wasn't connected to be able to do what I needed to do. And because gospel needs to come by the cross, gospel is not there about entertainment. Gospel is there about encouraging somebody to know that you have help, even if you don't see help. And so I needed to be my best self, but then I needed something beyond me to be able to help me speak to the people. And so that was that. If I could, that would probably, if I could, that would probably be the most challenging.
Yeah.
While I'll be the most proud of Lazy Afternoon.
You said that you talked about the dichotomy of having to just grapple with R&B versus gospel. How did you make that concession in your mind? How did you work it out that it was okay for you, or was it more other people putting that on you?
Man, I had to deal that. I'm a church girl. I grew up in the church. My mama was carrying me in her belly in the church. So I grew up in church my whole life. And I grew up in an era where if you didn't sing gospel and you had the gift to sing, then you were singing for the devil.
Right.
And so when I first left college, I had 15 credits to go at Rutgers University. Mm-hmm. And my grandfather was so proud of me and my first cousin, Curtis Bell. We were both going to Rutgers, and he was so proud because we were part of his legacy. We were the first on his side to go to college. Mm-hmm. And so he made all of his kids, my aunts and my uncles, he made them pitch in and give us money for our books. I mean, it was a proud moment. Mm-hmm. And so when I got ready to leave college to go sing backup for the Manhattans, my grandfather was like, and he's the patriarch of our family, so what he says matters. Yeah. And so when he said, I thought you was going to be the next Shirley Caesar, it was like, I just, kind of put my head down, and I was like really hurt. And I need y'all to understand, before y'all start judging my grandfather, he loved me, okay? my granddaddy loved me down to the white meat, so let's be clear. But that was his theology, right? Yeah. So he passed on what he got. Yeah. And so I almost didn't go on the road with the Manhattans. And my mom said very clearly to me, she said, your grandfather lived his life. You need to go and live yours. Mm-hmm. And that was the fodder for me to, get my cannon ready to get started. So I had to back up there because that was the beginning of the dichotomy, right? Mm-hmm. When I had the opportunity to do the gospel record, I had been approached many times. And I was like, no, I don't think so. And so then finally, I said yes. And when the record was made, I was like, okay, what are we going to do now? And, all I could hear God saying was, decide if you're going to answer the call. Mm-hmm. You can't be the caller. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Either receive the call or keep it moving, and I'll come back and hit you later. But you got to decide if you're going to answer the call. Yeah. And that's what I had to do. I answered the call, and the verse that sits out in my mind in Jeremiah said, "Be not afraid of their faces." And so going in churches and singing "God is good," and then coming out in the club and singing "God is good," one thing that I learned is that God trusts me because I can go from this medium to that medium, mm-hmm. and I'm coming out the same way I went in, as opposed to, kind of falling into whatever's there. And I needed folk to understand too that everybody in the club ain't going to hell. Let's be clear. Yeah. And so there was a message I started understanding that I could put out that people would receive, because you didn't hear about me, in the bad part of the news. I wasn't that wasn't my MO. I did the gig, I went home. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You ain't gonna read about Regina. We saw her at 3. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You lying. Wasn't me. You lying. Right. Okay. So, I had a reputation that would allow me, and it doesn't mean I'm squeaky clean. Let's be clear on that one too. Mm-hmm. But I had a reputation that would allow me to go these different places, to do these different things and inspire people in ways that they didn't think they could be inspired. So pastors literally started having me come into the church and singing Make It Like It Was.
Man.
And then I had to explain to them that Carvin Winans wrote it.
Yes.
Right.
I didn't realize until I was much older just the spirituality behind that record. Because as a kid, it's being played on Quiet Storm, and I'm thinking she talking about trying to get back with her dude.
Right.
I know you're able.
Yes, but as I got
second verse. At a certain time, you would find me on my knees, asking you to supply all my brother's needs.
See, we weren't paying attention to that.
You weren't paying attention.
Right.
No,
Look,
but when I'm 20,
preachers were telling me they weren't paying attention. They was in the blue light with the basement. Make it like it was.
slow dragging to
We
make it
gonna
like
pray
it was.
right now.
But when I'm 25 years old and I'm at a crossroads spiritually, and for whatever reason this song comes across my desk, I'm like, oh, and then I hear Carvin Winans wrote it, and I'm like, okay, there's really a spiritual element to this, and it blew my. I'm like, yo.
This song
Crazy.
is just simply saying, in another version, slow down. Girl, boy, let me love you. That's what God is saying.
Yeah.
Slow down.
Yeah.
You know, stop being busy. You know, Make It Like It Was is reflecting on a time when you made time. You just talked about it when we talked about not being in the studio together with the person that you're duetting with. There's magic that you are missing.
Yes.
And you're not going to get that.
Right.
You're not going to get that. There's this thing on the internet I was looking at, and the Pope was coming down a street. He was in the car, whatever, in a parade. There was a parade of folks, and everybody had their phones out, and they were taping it. And there was one older woman who was watching it. And I said, wow, she's taking it in. She's not going to miss the moment. Even when they go back on their phones, it's not going to be the same.
You go to a show and you film it. I don't even know why they film it, because it don't sound good. It don't look. It's not even. You're missing what you paid for. First of all,
You're missing it.
You're missing the moment, the blessing that's in that moment.
And here's the deal. Even if you miss a note, go a little bit off, if you can capture the feeling and you're in the middle of the presence of what is being presented, then the artist has done their job. When you tape it and you get all the opportunities now to say, oh, pick this apart, pick that apart, you're missing it.
You're missing
that
it.
was not the purpose.
Now that's a lesson for today's artists as well, because with phones and social media and all the things you can do, it's become an obsession with perfection, you know? And by the way, to singers' credit these days, they've studied so much and they've heard that these singers on the line, they're almost like robots. They can do everything clean.
Gifted like crazy. I call it acrobatic chromatics.
Yes.
I can't do that. I can't do that.
But the feeling is
there's no feeling.
It's the passion.
Right.
You know, and even and it's across the board. It's in all genres. And I know I'm gonna get beat up for this, but even in gospel music.
Yes.
It's crazy gift.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, what makes a person say, I'm going to leave the life I was in to now put on a new me? What's going to make a person say, I reach for the prize and not just be enveloped in great music? Because that is the intent and that is the purpose of gospel music, to make you want to change your mind about living the way you're living. And so if that be the case, then it's more than just the gift. If we don't, with this finite, plug into the infinite, we missed it. We missed it. And that's why I fight all the time, even with, you know, people in the church, to say, you got to stop saying the only inspirational music or is gospel music, because that's not true. That is not true. When people hear If I Could and they're crying, I'm touching something somewhere.
Changing someone's life.
You know,
100%.
when I sing "This Is Love" and people say this is our song, whenever we hear this, you know, I go running for my husband. I go running for my wife because that song was everything to us. When somebody hears my song, when they tell me, when I hear the song, it doesn't hurt. And it stopped me from doing some things I thought about doing.
Yeah.
That ain't spiritual?
That's definitely spiritual.
That's ministry.
That is ministry at its best. That is what ministry is supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Make you value the life that God gave you. And so, you know, from that aspect, I just feel like when we talk about fighting the wiles of the world, the evils and all those different things, we have to do it on all platforms.
Yeah.
You can't just, if God only works in the church, then we got a pitiful God.
That's a good way of putting
Yeah.
it. If you believe him, he got to be stronger than that.
Got to work outside of what you can even imagine.
We sound crazy.
I know that God, my God is good. Yes, He is. God.
Is there a gospel song that instantly bring the waterworks for you?
There's so many. As a kid, Pastor Shirley Caesar framed me. I studied everything she did. I studied where she took a breath. Everything. She was amazing to me.
She's another one that sounds exactly the same right now.
Yeah.
Look, and she the only person I know can shout backwards. Help me with that. But the song that I started singing, that I was 8 years old when I sang my verse solo, and it was her song. I'm a stranger, don't drive me away. And that song was everything.
Yeah.
So I learned that. I learned the preaching part, everything. And I started singing it in churches around, you know, I'm from Inglewood, so Hackensack, Inglewood, even New York, Manhattan area. I started singing that song, and that her as an artist, I just wanted to be her. She encapsulated everything that I could.
She is conviction.
Yeah.
Like she is
She's
conviction.
I love it. Right. She's the only person. We were on a gospel cruise and we were getting ready to do a finale thing, but she was doing her last song or whatever. And she said, come here, young boy. And she was talking to, I don't remember who she was talking to, but Kirk Whalum came up. Now, if Kirk Whalum comes up, if I was talking to him, I wasn't talking to him. Okay, I'm going to take that. She said, not you. I was like, oh. So Kirk took his horn and he just kind of waltzed back. And me and him were in the corner and we were hollering. Because I was like, oh, you got duped by Pastor Shirley Caesar. So
we all have a story. We all have one.
I love Pastor Caesar.
She's the only one. She's the one.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know. I have so many when I hear certain gospel, because gospel is and it really, us as artists, right? It really depends on the day, right?
Yeah.
So one day, one song could do it for you, and then another day, it ain't the same, right? So I don't know. I'm gonna be a Fred Hammond fan for forever.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be that. I love how I've been to quite a few homegoing services, and I love how everybody sings all of what they sing, and Kirk Franklin comes in with "Smile" and changes everything.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't know that I can have a gospel song specifically, because it really depends on the day, right? So I don't know, but I'm everything from, what is it, Iyanna
Crawley.
Cold.
Oh yeah, incredible.
Cold.
Okay,
on
she make
stage.
my eyes cross. Okay, Molly
Music.
Y'all translate for us. Y'all speak Regina Belle. I'm loving this.
We got you.
I oh my God. Now that one right there in the kitchen, literally I was washing chicken, and and I just went in. I mean, just in worship mode.
Yeah. That Yahweh, man, used to take
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that. Ooh.
So it just really depends, so there's so much music out there, and I love so much. I mean, shoot, Donny Hathaway has a song, Thank You Master.
Yeah.
And that'll do it for me
Yeah.
any day of the week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know, you just, for me, you just got to be spiritually connected. I got to be able to feel that spiritual connection, and I'm sold.
Our friends at the Black Promoters Collective have put together the Four Queens tour with Shaka Khan, Patti LaBelle, Gladys Knight, and Stephanie Mills.
Yes.
Incredible lineup.
And I'm going to one of the shows.
I'm going to the
Same.
show as well. We're all going to go.
So we will be in attendance. Yeah.
But I have to ask you, if the Black Promoters Collective were to call Regina Belle and say, hey, Regina, we want to do a tour with you and these three artists, who would that be?
Good question.
You wrong for that. Wow, I don't know. I work with Angela Wimbush.
Love it.
Oh man.
That's a singing heaven. You know who I think doesn't get the love, but she sings the paint off the wall and back on? Cheryl Pepsi Riley.
Yes.
Love Cheryl Pepsi.
That's my sister from another mister. She is
Love Cheryl
amazing.
Pepsi. Yeah.
Incredible.
Well, my girl, I don't know, she's a part of everything I do because we talk almost every other day. Shirley Murdoch.
Shirley Murdoch and you on the same tour?
Man, I'm there.
Are you kidding me?
Mickey Howard.
I was going to say Mickey as well.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I call her Michelle. Yeah, I mean, it's a number of folk. Do me, baby. Melissa. Golly, I don't know.
I mean, this is already a sold out show.
It's already sold out.
It's already sold out.
And we would have a ball.
Yeah.
Right, it'd be
we would
fun.
have a ball together because, I mean, we mix it up anyway.
Yeah.
Jennifer Holliday.
Yeah.
We mix it up anyway, and we have fun together. And we genuinely love each other.
Wow.
So, and I think that makes the difference too, because we know how to compete healthy.
Yeah.
So
Talk about
if
that.
they
though.
go out and
competing
kill.
healthily. That's a valuable thing.
What it is that, okay, Mickey goes out, kills on I'm in love under new management, right? She goes out and kill. Okay, I want to kick her light skin butt. Okay. Now I got to go. I was like, I got to go out and I'm not going out there to try to be Mickey.
Right.
I'm going out there to kill as Regina
That's
Belle.
the best Regina Belle I can be.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
So when Baby Come to Me come on,
Night.
we all the way there.
Right.
Right. So I'm like, deal with this. And so,
Now what you got?
right. But we can do that as sisters because we love each other.
Yeah.
Right.
We're not doing that to try to put nobody down.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to show mad love to my sister when I come on stage
Right.
and dare anybody not to.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
it's that kind of thing. That's what I call healthy competition.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
You said something earlier about how you're always professional. Like after the gig, there's not gonna be no I'm going home, right?
Yeah.
The music business. There's the music and then there's the business, which is a big part of it. And a lot of that business part is focused on sensationalism and
Absolutely.
your private life and what's going on and the
Absolutely.
drama. Do you feel like being the kind of professional that was about the show and the job and then going home, do you feel like in maybe a way that, does that hurt or help?
It depends. Let me give you an example. When I go in the studio to record with George Duke, I talk about with him the fact that we grace some of the same stages, but I can't believe I never met him. And we both said at the same time, because I go home after the show.
Yeah.
After the show.
And so it's not to say that you can't get into tomfoolery, you know, but what I'm saying is that I'm not going to open myself up to tomfoolery. So, you know, while there are some places where you have to make an appearance, I'm all for that because, you know, this is my bread and butter. This is how I eat. So if they're throwing a party in my honor, I want to show up. I want to shake some hands. I want to tell people how much I appreciate them and the whole nine. I'm not getting ready to close the club, though.
You're not shutting it down.
Look, didn't do it at 21, 31, 41. Definitely ain't doing it at 61.
Right.
So at the end of the day, I want folk to, you know, I'm selling music, not my soul. So there are some places I simply just don't need to be.
Yeah.
I just don't need to be. I'm like I said, I'm all for helping the promoter because the promoter is what? Helping me.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, no, that's not how I want to get down. I have other things I got to do.
So you never subscribe to the, you know, the who's dating who, all the drama that goes, you know, because I feel like even more now than ever, it's such a, they make it so much almost more important than your music. It's got to be the drama.
I kind of don't care.
Good.
I feel like Jean got her own problems. It's like, how am I don't have time to get caught up in. I have 5 kids, about to have 6 grandkids.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. My next grandson is going to be born in July, and I just don't have the time. My husband's pastor in 2 churches. I'm minister of music at both churches. I still got a career. Thank you, Jesus. I'm a caregiver for my mom. I don't got time for that. I don't got time for that. I don't even understand that. I don't understand why it is important to celebrate somebody's woes. Right. Life is hard.
It is hard.
Right.
Yes.
You know, and we make music to hopefully help you get through the hardships of life. And now social media, I mean, I think is great in some respects because it helps you to connect to people that you might not have ever connected to.
Yes.
But then it's the devil too, because, you know,
We know
if you
too
can
much.
spend a whole day online just scrolling. Jesus. What?
It comes down to time too, because time is limited for all of us, right? And so a whole day scrolling means that you've also neglected
Oh my gosh.
a bunch of things, and especially pouring into your own gift, which is a gift.
Yeah.
Do you know what your gift is?
Do you even know?
Because you looking for it online.
Wow.
And that's a problem.
Yeah.
Every person, I believe, is born with a gift.
Yeah.
And the Bible says your gifts make room for you. If your gifts make room for you, that means if you explode your gift and you work on your gift and you work through and in your gift, then you never go to work a day in your life.
Exactly. But you gotta be offline and not scrolling to get into it.
Look, if you can, you know, and your gift requires polish, right? So my gift is like a diamond. I found it, but it had carbons in it. It had cuts in it. So I had to refine it. I had to put it through the fire. I had to use, you know, the chisel and chisel. I had to look through the little scope and see if it's right where it needs to be. It ain't there yet. I still got to do some chiseling. I still got to, you know, well, I started out with a 10 carat, but in order for it to be flawless, I got to work it down to a 3 or 4. But I'm going to have something that's going to be potentially worth way more at the smaller carat. And that's how I look at it, that when you get your gift, when you find your gift, when you find your passion, usually that's where your gift is.
Yeah.
And if you can find that and polish it and make it what it needs to be, you never go to work a day in your life. Yes, you are going to put some work in to make the gift the best that it could possibly be. But at the end of the day, you love what you do. You love I love what I do.
Yeah.
You know, and so that was one of the areas of dichotomy when I started saying, well, now do I not sing R&B? Do I do, you know, and I never heard God say, well, I ain't tell you to stop singing that over there.
That's the exact same thing Montel Jordan
Yes.
He
said.
just
Yes.
said that.
I didn't stop telling you to sing that. So I need you to do what you do. I just need you to be do it with purpose and understand now that when you go out to sing God is good or this is love or can't nobody do me like Jesus or if I could, that who gives you the passion to sing all of this with and let people understand that it's been a gracious God, it's been a provisional God, it's been a faithful God, it's been a loving God that has gotten you to this point.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, you can sing whatever you're going to sing. And you'll be all right.
Phil, even you.
Even me?
Even you, Phil.
You can sing.
You can sing, Phil.
We sound crazy.
The
Esther Roll.
award.
It's time for the Esther Roll Black Excellence Award. That's Esther Roll from her gospel album.
Yes.
From
Oh my
1975.
God. Yes.
Yeah.
I was going to say, where is my award? I won.
You won. You know,
Wow.
it's
Wow.
well, now that you're here, we can discuss such things.
We can discuss it.
Oh my God.
Wait, hold on, no, don't even take it yet. I feel like
okay.
Chuck
Yeah, Chuck should
Should
give it
get
to
up
you. The one who didn't vote.
give you
The one who didn't vote
Yes,
for.
Chuck.
the award.
Yes. And don't be. No, wait.
Yes.
Oh my God. Turn it around because you got Regina Belle backwards. This is so sweet. I was like, I won this award. Ain't
did.
nobody give me no award. I got my award. That is so sweet. Thank y'all.
We wanted to honor you because you deserve all the flowers.
Yes,
As we
you
just
do.
walked through,
Yeah.
Irby winner, Irby legend.
Oh my gosh.
We
Oh,
love
that
you.
is so sweet.
We love you, and we are so honored that you even took the time to come talk to
Absolutely.
us. So we had to.
Please, y'all call me back. I had fun talking to y'all.
Listen.
I want to thank you for letting me be myself again. I want to thank you for letting me be myself again.
Yeah.
Listen, the next time we meet, we want chicken thighs.
All right.
Yes.
I got you.
We come in the crib for a
I
cooking
got you.
special.
I got you. Okay, sweet potato pie or chocolate cake?
Sweet
potato pie.
Oh, look at y'all.
Look.
Now,
Grady,
wait, where y'all
look,
from?
I'm like Bo.
Virginia.
I'm right here in Georgia.
I'm from New York City, so
Okay.
we're tri-state area
But you said
neighbors.
sweet potato pie.
Yeah.
I like them both, but sweet potato pie.
Right, but that's a country flavor.
I know. I live in Nashville now.
Okay.
Oh, the crew
Okay,
saying
you
we're
know
into
what?
sweet potato pie over here.
Sweet potato pie for everybody
It's
in the
unanimous.
room. I got you.
It's unanimous.
I got you. I promise you.
This has been a dream come true.
It has.
You are welcome anytime.
Anytime.
Okay.
We love
Anytime.
Now,
for
you know
real.
I rolled in on Montel's. I will roll in now.
Anytime we would love to, because like you said, people should be asking these questions. I'm grateful for the knowledge that you imparted today. I learned so
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah.
So I know that people are going to be blessed by this conversation. Artists and people who are not just artists, because it applies to anything anywhere your gift is.
Yeah.
So just thank you for who you are and what you do and what you share.
I hope this is an opportunity for the young jacks to come and just say, hey, you know, I'm dealing with this. You know, maybe something sensitive that the world doesn't need to know. I'm confident.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not willing to. You don't see me on social media getting down like that.
Yeah.
Because I genuinely want to help. And I want to feel good about passing the baton. You know, when you know that person is there, you don't even look behind. You just pass it.
Yep.
I want to know that whom I'm passing it to, that I don't need to look behind, that I have helped to generate a strong enough young woman, young man that will be able to stand the wiles. Because guess what? Some of the things that I had to deal with, they won't have to deal with, but they got their own things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it ain't nothing new under the sun.
No. I think of Samara Joy,
Yeah.
who's
Love her.
really helping to put jazz in a mainstream way like it deserves to be.
Absolutely.
American classical.
American, yeah, and she's done covers of Nancy Wilson as well. She did.
Guess who I saw today?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And there's all these artists that will be encouraged to also be themselves and not shun away from all the different kinds of sounds.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is golden.
Man.
Thank you all. My sons. I love y'all.
I'm adopted. Claude Kelly Bell.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Make sure you follow us on all platforms at We Sound Crazy and WeSoundCrazy.com, and like and subscribe below.
And shout out to our partners at Visit Music City. Thank you so much for your support.
Now, we wouldn't be able to leave without getting a final dedication or song. We allow the special guest to choose the going out song. It could be anything that you feel just soundtracks this experience. How are we ending this special episode with Regina Belle today? What song?
Oh my gosh.
It could be one of yours. It could be a song we talked about. Just what's on your heart.
If I could,
I love that.
I'd protect you from the sadness in your eyes. Give you courage in a world of compromise. Yes, I would. If I could, I would teach you all the things I never learned, and I'd help you cross the bridges that I burned. Yes, I would. If I could.
Oh, what a way! That's yeah.
All right.
Thank you to the iconic Miss Regina Belle. We love you.
bless
We love you. We love
you.
you.
Thank you. I love y'all more. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank
And
you.
keep doing what you're doing. Keep your head up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Until next week, We Sound Crazy. We're out of here.
Peace.
We sound crazy.